Hello, everyone. Welcome to your favorite podcast. I'm your first mate, Doc. This ladder right here. This ladder right here is Chris.
G'day.
Thank you. World Cup, baby. World Cup. We got a lot to talk about. We'll talk about World Cup. Talk about Summit making a big move. Talk about the Rockies, who is your favorite team. And maybe some other stuff. Broncos, Nuggets. Who knows? We got a lot in store for you. Maybe JT will be here. Maybe he won't. We're all fixing to find that out. So we will see you back here in just a minute.
Yo, welcome to the show. Let me set the scene. Mile High Sports Symposium, living the dream. Broncos in the house with that orange and blue. Nuggets making moves, watch that altitude crew. Avalanche bringing ice, check the skills they display. Rockies swinging bats, ready for on gameplay. Rapids in the mix, kicking it with style. Puffs bring the heat, put the rivals on trial. Chris and JT, they got the scoop. Mile High vibes, feel that energy rise. Sports on the menu, watch the crowd mesmerize. From football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire.
That was good. That was good.
Good.
Good song intro after a week off. Sometimes we need a little vacay in our life. I wouldn't know. I didn't take one. But it's nice to be back with you, Chris, my man. How are things?
I'm good, brother. Just excited to be here talking sports. My two favorite people. So certainly you, maybe JT.
At least one. Yeah, so. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, nothing rhymes with JT like we'll see. And so I'm just on it, dude. I'm on it. I'm excited. It's hot outside. So that's fun. Additionally, we got lots of sports and stuff. But before I get going, I want to shout out Braylon. My son is in Arizona. Talk about hot. Is in Arizona competing at Worlds in Taekwondo. And so maybe asking, like, why'd you go to Arizona? That's just where they hold it. People from the world come there. It's America, right? Like, yeah, we're going to do like the World Series in America. And so he's competing. Right. Super excited for him. I think he's competing right now. I'm like, keep looking down at my phone for an update, but you keep going, kid. Enjoy the stuff. Dad's proud. All the things. So with that, yeah, do what we do. But we got a lot of sports to talk about. So
yeah, we do.
Let's start on the world stage.
Let's do it.
So we have if you haven't gone Viva España, you should. As the Spaniards did the French dirty. By dirty, I mean whooped them. Not like, but and then you got England and Argentina coming up, eh?
Right. So what is happening is Spain's already punched their ticket to the finals, which is pretty impressive. Spain was one of the favorites coming in. They won the 2024 Euros, which is a big deal. But throughout the tournament, France looked like the most, certainly the best team playing out there. So it was an impressive win for them. Right now, England is playing Argentina, and England's up 1-0. It was a beautiful goal. I was watching it right before I came on, and it was a banger. So Bellingham crossed into the box, and Gordon got on the end of it. So impressive. We'll see what Lionel Messi does. I mean, this is probably his last World Cup, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's the example of leave it out on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, you're not playing for anything else. Like, he's MC Miami and all the good stuff, but it's been as a very distant appreciation of soccer. I for sure have fallen in the American trap, right? It's all things, which I think every country probably you got your things, but this World Cup has just been super enjoyable. I think there's just been some really good play. I think having your team at least relevant in the tournament was great. They didn't embarrass us, which I think is good. Making a run a little bit, and I think giving the U.S. a glimpse of like what could be. If we really want this to be good, look how cool it can be. People across the world, like we said, enjoying barbecue and all of the bad things and all the great stuff. Having a lot of different cultural hospitality going on, whether that be Kansas City or Seattle or Miami, or it's just been super cool to see and get reminded of a lot of good things that happen on a day-to-day basis in our communities and on the world stage. Plus, it's been really good. It's been really good play, and as a dad of 3 soccer players, it's been cool to watch a little bit with them and give them some of the or enjoy it with them a little bit. And so I've appreciated it, and I have no doubt that the final, whether Argentina kind of comes back as they have throughout, or England against the juggernaut, I think either way this tournament will end. I have no doubt will end in a wonderful show.
A banger of a match.
A banger of a match.
Yeah, I need to go. If you would allow me, indulge me just a little bit. I need to go on a little bit of a rant. Again, everything you said was 100% true. The other thing the World Cup has kind of sparked is a conversation in this country about youth sports, especially youth soccer. And unfortunately, I think there is one sentiment that has Bruce Arena, Greg Berhalter, and Alexi Lawless kind of on one side, where they're saying that status quo is okay. The pay for play model is working and producing players. And I'm here to say that can't possibly be true. We have for 20 years, Americans men's soccer has struggled, despite having a massive population, to produce quality soccer players that can compete on a higher level and kind of break through that round of 16 ceiling that we have.
Yep.
And again, the people profiting off this are Bruce Arena, Greg Berhalter, and Alexa Lawless. And they're like, yep, it's fine. And it's like, it's not, because when you have Chris Richards' mother come out and say, this is not okay, and we almost had to give up soccer because we couldn't afford the dues, that's unacceptable to me. And when you have Kevin Frazier go on Dan Patrick and say, this is happening, I've witnessed this firsthand, and Kevin Frazier is an analyst, a sports analyst, and he's saying, I'm witnessing this firsthand, where U.S. soccer is kind of gatekeeping from the Latino community in this country, and it's not okay. So I'm here to say, I don't think things are okay, and I think things need to change. I'm hopeful that they will, but I cannot shout down Greg Berhalter, Bruce Arena, and Alexi Lawless, because I keep calling them out because they keep going on shows saying this is okay, this is okay. Stop saying that. It's not okay.
Yep.
So come out and say it. Hey, we need to make some changes. Yep. Changes is fine. So again, I don't have an idea of how to change it because I'm not familiar enough with it, but I know that this ceiling has to be broken, and I think youth sports is the way to do it. And we now have a 4-year kind of window to say, let's maybe examine it and try and change it, because I know Norway has already committed money to their youth soccer program. Yep. Mexico has already committed money to their youth soccer program, and they have figured it out, and we still have not. And I don't believe that that's that somehow we are incapable, whereas the Norwegians are more capable than us.
100%. I love Lawless. It's like, why should a coach not want to go to the highest ranks and coach? Like, the good coaches should be able to make money 100%. The problem is that we're putting money in the places where we can extract the most. as opposed to where we want the learning to happen. And
correct.
The inversion of the system is super important, right? It's some of the most impactful interactions. And if you look at the school system, right, it's some of the most impactful teachers that your kid will ever have, or their kindergarten teacher, their preschool teacher, their first grade teacher, right? Just being able to get you into the system. And I can tell you, as a parent of soccer players, and I am fortunate enough to be able at this current moment to support their enjoyment of the sport. If it continues, I will no longer. Like I can't. And especially because, right, what is the juice for the squeeze here?
Yep.
What is the hope, especially for my son, who, if he's not identified between the ages of 14 and 16 as a prodigy in the sport, college isn't a feeder for soccer like it is for football or baseball or basketball even.
Correct.
And so if that's the route to go, the system itself is, like I said, in line with the other American sports, when hockey isn't, right? There's like boarding schools. You go and like do the thing, and, they live there, they stay there, they go to school there, and the rest of the country, the rest of the world, the kids get paid to go play. They don't.
And the clubs also get a percentage of if they develop this player. So, in Germany, if they develop a player and, like, let's say Manchester City goes in and says, I'm going to buy this, some of the money goes to that club that actually did the developing. So, Dak, we appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's ways to do it.
Yep.
There's ways to still keep a capitalistic free market approach in there, but 100% it's gatekeeping. Baseball is getting like that too, where it's, if any of you have ever bought a bat for your kid, like when we were younger, like they were still like absurd, like they were goodness gracious. I guess maybe that was a way that you could like maneuver good players from like not good players. Cause like if the kid was raking and he had like a 10-year-old Louisville Slugger, you're like, oh yeah, he's a hitter. Dude. Like that's like legit. Kid's like shiny ting aluminum. You're like, is it the bat? But for sure, it's things are getting like that. I heard this really good conversation just about the erosion of community, and then we'll get off of this thing obviously. But how like everything used to kind of just be like you just do it for the community, right? I watch your kids, you watch my kids. Maybe a retired grandpa goes down to the park and like is helping kids with skills, like things like that just used to be a part of like American society and community living is now for $25 a session, right? Which if you can monetize it and you can get paid for it, you do it. But the fact that it's gotten so detailed and minute about all of those things that it really has taken out like the community. There is no.
It almost feels.
I played for like it does. I mean, it really is like if there's a need and I can lean on it, or a kid or a family feels like, hey, my kid's got a chance to go to college. If I invest a little bit now, right? Like I don't have to pay $200,000 later, which I think it's a smart investment if you think you could do it. But I played for the Lakewood Tigers, right? Like I played for my city and like my community, and that was huge for me. I still hold it to the day. Like I still don't like the other towns near even. But there was like this pride in it, right? And now it's, if you don't like your club team, you go to a different club team, and then it's just a different feel, that's for sure. But maybe a soapbox for another day, but I think your soapbox is an appropriate one. Like something's got to get different. You're going to tell me that we don't have the athletes to compete on a world stage. Like there wouldn't be guys that would be interested in being, instead of being a 6'2" 4-year guard at Providence, that they wouldn't be like, hey, maybe I can make it as a striker on the world stage, or a goalie, or like, come on. Well, like a lot of guys pick sports, the sport that they pick because it's a way out. It's a profession. It's a direction. They love sports. Maybe not this one particularly, but it's one they're super good at because that's what they're exposed to. That's what they have the avenue to. So there'll be a lot of guys that could be interested in soccer that just don't because it's not promoted in their neighborhood.
Yeah. Also, again, unlike, and again, this is again a conversation for a different day, but like unlike baseball, you can just have a ball and go play. Like you don't need a whole bunch of equipment in order to do it. So it just staggers me when you have these prominent figures in U.S. soccer saying no, things are fine. It bothers me to my core because I just think there's no way that you actually believe that. If you gave them a lie detector test, there was no way that you actually believe what you're saying. So, and if you do, then again, I think you're in an echo chamber. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
which all those things probably true. Probably.
Yeah.
Let's stay on soccer a little bit. So we have
do it.
Our Denver own Summit. Bringing in Colorado native, U.S. national women's team captain Lindsey Heaps to D-Town. Has she had her? I know that she's been training. She hadn't had it. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, man, I didn't want to miss it yet. That would have really sucked. What are your thoughts, man? I think in all things, it's a pretty big deal to not only have, the face of, some would say, like, of women's soccer, which in terms of when we're talking about national stage in the women's game, they're pretty dang good. And then for a franchise that just started in a playoff run, they're competing and trying to get a playoff spot. I think it's a big deal.
Absolutely. So, I mean, again, they've had their struggles with, being an expansion team. I mean, every expansion team is going to struggle. So getting this type of player added to your season or your mid-season is great. Like it's going to, again, set a standard because, and again, I'm going to call her Lindsey. I don't know her personally, but Lindsey knows what it takes to compete at the highest levels. Like, so again, getting that boost to the players around her and setting the stage and setting the expectation about what this looks like, I think is a huge boon to the Summit. And I'm excited to see what she does. So,
yeah, I mean, she's been playing professionally since she was 18. Started in France, the PSG women's team at 18. So she's just,
stud.
She's been, stud. Out in Golden, so like I said, one of the rivals here for against my Lakewood Tigers. So, but a part of the women's national team, 178 games, 40 goals, 38 assists, all of the stuff. So she is, a legitimate. When you look at like caliber of star, right? Like that is a legitimate. You're getting someone in. And maybe it's the tail end of her prem. I don't.
Well, she's only 32. Is what
right?
I read.
So. And I mean, like you're getting her. She's still a force. Right. Kind of like the height of her powers a little bit of.
She may be coming out of her prime
status. But all the things. I mean, she's someone that's leading the national team, right? Everyone that's on, in this league, especially the U.S. born players in it are. Who that is. You've watched. You're hoping she's wearing the captain's jersey that maybe you hoped you maybe played as her in the backyard, right? Like he spins, shoots, scores, like all the things, and then to have that person on your roster. I mean, just you're the one showing them around or showing her around to her locker, right? Like all of the stuff. Maybe I think it's got to be surreal for the Summit. And I think for me, I think it also adds, some more attention to the popularity of the sport. And validates, I think, the expansion of this team here, even maybe just for the league itself. Like, hey, we made a right choice. Look who we were able to bring. 4 months into our first season. I think that's just, I think that's huge, and I guess Tim Howard playing for the Rapids for a little bit.
But even like Messi or Howard, like you're getting at them at the tail end of their career.
At the tail end. And Howard really was, and Howard really was like I mean, Tim Howard, love Tim Howard forever. Bald guys unite, all the good stuff.
That's right, Debesh. That's right,
yeah,
Debesh. Tim
right,
Howard,
right.
American hero.
But even that his star was like it was pretty short in essence, right? But I mean, Lindsey Heaps, like you said, and coming in and contributing, and probably could carry this team. It's probably the biggest soccer acquisition since maybe like the team was winning championships in like '96.
Yeah, it's big.
It's big. So I think for this is like Avs getting Rob Blake or guys like that. I think that it's a really big, maybe Waddle. Like you're getting someone that's a game changer that's insta clout when they enter the office for work. I think that's just a pretty dope thing. So super excited. Can't wait for her to take the pitch and for her first goal, all the good stuff that I think is just pretty awesome. And it's got to be cool to be able to do that and then drive home, go to your parents' house, all the good stuff. That's just got to be next level cool. Hopefully it's enjoyable and not overly pressure filled coming home. But I think, someone's played on the national team and all that stuff. I don't think will probably succumb to the pressure of playing in front of their middle school teacher,
True. No doubt.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Walters, calm down over there. All right. Before we go to our break, let's indulge me a little bit in some Rockies. Okay. So Drew will be on here relatively soon in the next just to go over some deadline talk. I think that there's some chatter, and several of the lists. The Rockies occupy a good portion of the best available trade deadline targets, which one, it shows that they're a seller, but two, shows that they aren't bereft of talent, and you might actually have a front office that could know what they're doing. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But I think just to catch everyone up a little bit, Hunter Goodman tied the Rockies record for home runs before the All-Star break with Larry Walker and Todd Helton, who super awesome, but they both did it in 2001. If anyone remembers that team, all offense all the time. That's it. Just all offense all the time. Just turned 26. Is he untouchable? Is he not? I think it's some interesting questions, especially because the Rockies drafted two prolific offensive catchers in the first round of the MLB draft, the first day of the MLB draft. One being the Golden Spikes winner, who I don't think he'll get stuck at catcher. Dan Jackson, who had like 23 steals and 25 attempts on offense, like an offensive steals, not throwing out as a catcher.
I don't see Hunter Goodman going anywhere. Like for me, he's a foundational piece. Like just because you drafted, a couple catchers in the first couple days of the draft, I don't think means anything to me because they may be years away. They may be switching positions. Like again, having that foundational piece, especially when we had Will and Rosario and we've had Yorvit Torrealba, like having an actual all-star catcher, again, for me, it's a foundational piece. Like that's the kind of guy you want to develop out of your farm system, and we already have. So let's just stick with it. Especially
up the middle, right? I mean, unless baseball is different, I guess, now than it used to be in yesteryears and all of the good things. I think you don't. I think you got to be real careful, especially club control for a while. It's not like he's, you're at the end of arbitration eligibility, but a guy who has learned to compete here and is doing so. You draft guys, you draft hitters, and you figure out where they play, especially with the DH. You can carry three catchers if two of them can hit. One of them can scoop every once in a while at first base, all of the good stuff. I think just a team that's bereft of talent, plus maybe all three of them are raking. Then you have an option about guys that you can send out maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable in developing hitters to a high degree that maybe will get you back MLB pitching instead of trying to trade or develop your own pitchers. I think it just gives you quite a bit. I do think just to be able to emphasize this, I did really appreciate. I've looked at like 3 different publications about Rockies draft and what do they think. And the best pick potentially, and maybe the steal of the draft, Logan Redeman, pitcher out of UCLA, 6'2", 200 pounds. Let's see, quote, "It's incredibly impressive. It's almost a professional arsenal. The last 6 or 7 games, he has plowed the competition." And so he brings an advanced pitch mix for a college pitcher, hard cutter, changeup, which play it up to. And he has a curve and a sweeper. So being able to have those, the reason why he fell to the 38th pick was, don't know if he's going to be a reliever, if he has the stamina maybe to be able to pitch at as a starter, however, has a starter feel. And I think it goes to show, I think the scouting chops or the front office difference in how they're attacking pitching and that kind of stuff. And then, they're really outside of the first 5 picks, the next 15 out of the next 17 were all pitchers, which, do the thing. So,
well, I think it's also worth mentioning that, the first 5-6 picks of their draft were all out of college. So again, you mentioned that.
I would say 85%, if I were to guesstimate the math when looking at it, of their draft was college pitchers.
Yeah, or no, just college players in general. So
college players, that's what.
Yeah, they seem to be going. They seem to be transitioning from the Riley Pint errors where we'll just draft these high school players and see if they flame out, and if they flame out, great. But maybe more polished, maybe get something out of it, maybe if it's not the ceiling we want it to be. So
yeah, I think, and I don't know, I've at least seen more of it in the MLB draft, more of a skew towards college pitching. Yeah, especially looking at or being scouting the junior college ranks or lower levels, because you can get kind of more mature talent. And I think with everyone really, with velocity just going up all over the board, you're not in like a place where you have to only find the phenom, right? The 95 to 98. You got to catch them early. Now it's really with the advancements and a lot of things, you're getting guys in college who are throwing hard. Everyone's at 93 to 95. And if that's the case, then why not get a guy that's going to be able to get to the majors in 2 years over 6 years?
Well, also the NIL has also changed the game where it's you have options. So going to college is actually you can actually go and get a benefit there. I don't ask me how much that has changed it, but I'm sure it has, where it's okay, if I'm good enough, I'm going to hope to be drafted. I'm going to go, rather than, I now have options. So maybe I do go a year at college and then come out for the draft. So, so I think the NIL has changed as well. So
100%. I think all of those things have to be in play. But you know what? The Rockies are a baseball team again. Didn't say good. Didn't say. But I'm predicting that they're going to finish with 71 wins, which would be a significant improvement from last year. I think they're on pace for 66 right now. But there was a June swoon in there. Maybe it was a May swoon. But super excited about where
early June. But it's just
with where they're going. You got some of I think that some of the pitchers are really starting to level out. Doesn't mean that they're going to be great, but I think when you know what to expect, as opposed to the volatility that can happen, they're a team that's hitting more consistently, which from a young team is super exciting. When you got guys that are just putting the ball in play, that are making the heads up decisions, that kind of stuff. That part is just learning how to play baseball, not just hitting the ball.
Can I ask you a question?
Excited about where that goes. Yes, please.
So last week, JT and I kind of went over a couple of names that we think may be traded, and I want to get your take on it. So one was Anthony Senzala. Is he a stay or a go?
He's a go. You got it.
Yeah.
Yep. Last year of his deal, one, he deserves to go try and win somewhere. But two, you kind of caught him lightning in a bottle right now. This is the best he's pitched in years. And I think if you think that you can re-up that and keep that nope. Let's not make that mistake again and do right by him and give him an opportunity to go get some get a ring. So yeah, gotta go.
Yep. The other one was Mickey Moniak.
Go.
Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping like the Charlie Condon takes that guy's role like late June or late July, I should say, early August. So
yeah, I like Mickey Moniak. I think he's great. I think you missed the timeline. I think he's peaking probably about how as good as he's gonna be. And he's 28 now, and I think a couple of years when they're really kind of competing for wild card again, 30, 31, is that really you really want him taking up some of those spots? You got Cole Carrig, you got Brito, who was in the Midsummer Classic or the U.S. First the World's Rising Stars, the Condon as well. I think you have your long-term first baseman, and I think Karros is starting to play, so you kind of maybe got your corners figured out. Jackson Holliday is going to be wherever you can put him, whether that's going to be at short or at short, and then
I think maybe 30.
Yeah, Brito or Carrick at second. You're running out of spots. You like what McCarthy's brought in from a speed perspective and plus defense, and so you're kind of running out of spots. And with a whole bunch more, I think, outfielders in the system, I think you got to get what you can.
Sounds right. The last name I have for you is actually Hunter Goodman. So I know my thoughts on it, but what do you got?
Yeah, I think unless you got, and I would say unless you got a valid extreme upside already in the majors, but just kind of got to the majors level of pitcher, right? Like you've seen him, he's got 8 starts under his belt, he's dealing, that kind of thing. No, it'd have to be a really, really, really good offer. And I don't think that there's going to be that for Hunter Goodman. I think he's a good hitter. I think people are probably worried about the Coors Field effect, all the things. He's not a great defensive catcher. He's good with challenges, but not necessarily that. I mean, with bad pitching, you don't know how good he is at calling a game. If he does call a game, all that stuff. So I think he's more valuable here than not. So I think you got to keep him.
I agree. Only because I think he's kind of where you want to be when you are developing young talent. He's an all-star. Yeah. So, okay, we're going to keep our all-star and then kind of try and at least build around him and see if maybe, Jackson Holliday or Charlie Condon or TJ Rumsfeld develop into, a bigger star. So,
yeah, I think at some point you got to keep somebody, right? Like,
100%.
They can't just be like, anytime they get good, let's get them out if they're not 23. I think you got to have guys that do all the stuff. And if he's great in the clubhouse, he puts in the work. I think at some point you got to start putting your flags in the ground with these guys. Like these are our kind of guys. And so from what I have at least heard and read about Hunter Goodman, he's that dude. So
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, while you're at it, everyone, go like, subscribe, comment for the algorithms, all the stuff. You can go find the network, Orange and Blue Network, on Twitter, on YouTube, Facebook, all the things. If you get a chance. We have a new giveaway. We reached 1,000 subs, not like sandwiches, but if you want to send sandwiches, let me know. I will eat sandwiches. We have a signed Nick Bonito mini helmet. When we get to 1,000 subs, then we will do that giveaway. So go create a whole bunch of accounts. And
by the way, thanks to Bruce Timmons for donating that.
Yeah, big shout out. Big shout out. And then while you're at it, we have all of the shows all of them. Literally every show that's out there is here. So follow those things, whether it's Bronco Bros, whether it is My High Outcast, whether it is Viva Los Broncos, whether it is Broncos Talk, whether it is all of the things. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Just get me started. And as we're going to talk about here in a few, the NFL is peaking right around the corner. So start getting in the conversations now because it's fun. And to do that, you're going to want to stay up. You want to stay up more. So I'm here to tell you caffeine is good for you. And I'm a doctor. Not that kind of doctor. Go get you some W. No jitter. All that good stuff. Some great flavors. Get 10% off at your checkout. Use the code OBN10 for Orange and Blue Network 10 or Bo Hicks 10 because he wears number 10. And if you have hair,
most of
you probably want to cut. Go stop by Lily's Beauty Salon out there on Thornton. Wonderful ex-city of mine and all the things. So you can see on the screen, give her a call or give the office a call. Go get you set up. Again, Lily's Beauty Salon. You can see the business hours there. Go get you done up because you know what? Everyone feels a little bit better when they get their beauty on.
Absolutely. And for before we move on, yours truly was on the or Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast last night. It was super fun. Shout out to Johnny and Jay. I appreciate you for having me on. We built a stadium, which was really cool. So it's a very fun idea. Yeah. We have slides and we have sleds and we have outdoor amphitheaters and we've got
I have problems with what you guys built. Like I don't even like what? Like what are we doing here? You know,
you're fine.
Like how are we gonna?
It doesn't matter. It's 100 acres. It is 100 acres of land that we could do whatever we wanted to. It was a fun exercise. Check it out. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, that's good stuff. You guys are absurd.
Shout out to Jay.
Absurd. Jay or dope. Johnny, phenomenal. I mean, there's good stuff all over the place. All right. Let's start with the Nuggets.
Let's do it.
Nuggets making some.
I'm so sorry. I have to interrupt you.
What?
Argentina punched its ticket 2-1.
Oh, there's the comeback.
Right. He is the greatest of all time because he is the greatest of all time.
Did he score? Did he score?
No, but that doesn't mean he's not the greatest of all time.
Oh no, sure. No, yeah, he's goated for sure. That said, it's feel England. I feel, I mean, kind of makes sense. The 250th anniversary of the United States and like their own thing. Like it couldn't win, right? Like,
yeah. So, anyways, but let's talk about the Nuggets.
Yeah. So speaking of Europe, Nuggets go French.
Indeed.
By French, I mean former Denver high school athlete, making some moves. So maybe tell us a little bit about the newest Nugget and what that means for where we're at. Yeah.
So we signed the Defensive Player of the Year over there in the Europe. I'm going to screw up this last one. Alpha Diallo. We signed him to a 1-year deal worth $1.4 million. I think he had a bigger offer to stay in Europe at like $2 million, but he's like, I want to come over and represent not only my state but my country and see if I can make a career here. Super athletic guard, 6'7". I think he gives us the things that we're looking for. He's an athlete. He plays good defense. He can shoot it a little bit. I'm not sure he's going to knock your socks off like Tim Hardaway did last year, but I think he's good enough. I think he's one of those going to be that rotational bench guy that can go lock down a good defender and maybe kind of shore up our leaky defense when Christian Brown is struggling or when Aaron Gordon is hurt or God forbid if Peyton Watson decides what he's going to do this offseason. So I really enjoyed the signing. I thought it was a great depth signing. So,
yeah, I mean, 1.4 million within, kind of the confines that they're at. They get athletic defender, which really that's like the second best league in the world.
Yeah.
It's
arguable.
So,
yep.
Yeah. So it's not like some hole in the wall. This is legitimate basketball. And so when you are where the Nuggets are at right now, I think it's super smart to look around and not just, scavenge G League teams. I think that there's phenomenal talent outside the world, and especially guys that knows what it takes to be a professional. This is a guy who gets it. It's on the grind, has had to fight to keep a career and kind of found a niche. The hard part is he brings zero offensively, really. And so can he be enough? Can he be enough offensively to give you something so that you're not playing 4-on-5? But I think with, if there were a team that could score without him, it's probably that the Nuggets offense and scoring wasn't the problem for the most part, right? Like that wasn't the issue. And really, if he can set good screens and he's active, can move to the basket, you don't have to be a dangerous spot up shooter. You have to be somebody that they have to pay attention to. You look at even Aaron Gordon and a lot of, maybe the past couple years before really working on it was really slasher dunker for Jokić. And, he's averaging 15 to 18 points. How many of those are lobs and backdoor cuts? Can he be a guy that averages 8 points a game because he attacks the offensive glass and
does transition,
gets some runouts and does transition? Yep. And if he's playing really good defense, can get you a steal or two. I mean, it's a pretty easy way to contribute. But a guy that you trust in crunch time, locking up some of the best players in the world, or at least closing that gap for 1.3 million. You show me the Nuggets roster, I'll show you a bunch of guys that I'd probably rather not give their money to, and I'd rather give him. So I like it. I would have liked, to be honest, maybe even more of some of that, but I do know that there's some like contractual things that you can't do, or at least there's been some like league agreements where you can't just go poach European teams. Like guys have to be, you either got to buy him out and buy the team out, or you got to all that stuff, and you're facing a $200 million
I can't connect
tax tax issue.
I think instructions in the help section of your Alexa app.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, thanks. For some reason, girl just be talking, bro. I'm like,
Alexa.
I don't even say it because that's the only thing, because it's not connected to the network. Still not connected to the network. I get it. Not connected to the network. You're not even useful. Not connected to the network. Anyway, so I like it. I think with that, let's talk a little bit about the summer league. JT was supposed to do it, but he prioritized his kids over us. Let me know that he was
lame.
Helping out my nephew Luke, who, if any of the kids need it, trust me, it's Luke for sure. Just kidding.
Lame.
Luke, it's funny that we're talking basketball. Luke is the baller of the family. So I appreciate it. You know what? Love Lukey. He is one of my favorite nephews, that's for sure.
Okay.
Just kidding, Luke. Love you. So let's talk summer league. So this one was one where we had a really small sample size from the Nuggets' first pick, a little bit bigger of a sample size than the Nuggets' second pick. Roster-wise, at least for the entirety, I'm not overly impressed by much else, which has been kind of interesting, to be honest with you. I feel like the Nuggets have had at least some interesting guys. You look at Connor Gillespie, guys like that who have made NBA careers. I feel like
the infamous Bowl.
Infamous Bowl, but it's still, I mean, to be honest, Bowl is Bow's biggest detractor. If Bowl would have taken any coaching whatsoever, that dude would have been, I know. But I mean, where are we supposed to go with that now? I mean, tell me tools. You can't have those tools. Like, it wasn't a tools problem.
Yep.
You know, that you can't dribble and shoot like that and all that stuff. And like, tell me that if you wouldn't have just played the game a little bit, you couldn't have been, I mean, at least like a long time NBA fixture among anything. So anyway, all the stuff.
A rotational piece, a usable rotational piece.
I mean, at least at minimum, an instant offense off the bench. Like you could be that dude. You could have been a really tall Jamal Crawford. You just had to shut your pie hole, or do whatever they're telling you to do. Sometimes just listening is good. But you know what? Let's go to this summer league.
Sure.
Love the Nuggets grit, taking down the Timberwolves. A little what's to come. Suck it, LaMelo. And then whomping the Thunder by 3 points. The 0-3 Thunder. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I love summer league.
Because we can build these fake narratives.
Guys that will never sniff the locker room.
Right.
Not always, but we talked about it. There's 3 or 4 guys on each, on average on a summer league roster who will play in the NBA. And I mean play in the NBA, not two-way it. They get 4 minutes or something like that. But I think guys, it's average of 4 guys on each team that will crack a rotation, and be a guy that sticks around in the league. Brazil, 32 points, absolute monster.
So he finally signed. So now he gets his first action as a second round pick, and he drops 32 points and has a windmill dunk on a break, which again I'm here for it. A athletic big man who actually shows up in the summer league is pretty cool. So
weird, right? Yeah, the last time that we were excited about a big man in the summer league, he blew out his Achilles in the first 3 minutes. Knock on wood. But for a guy that didn't look, or you were worried wasn't going to have a feel, and mind you, summer league, blah blah blah, but it's basketball, so he didn't look lapsed, he didn't look lost, he didn't look inattentive, he didn't look. That said, I don't know how many offensive sets they're running. Especially for a guy that just got there.
JT mentioned last week that this is an older team, so you have more
it is
basketball players.
It is. I mean, it's more of the G League guys. I mean, again, with where basketball's gone, right? You don't have a ton of 19-year-olds. You got guys who are hanging on in the G League, or maybe your Alpha Diallos who are trying to get back into the league, or that kind of stuff. But that to me bodes well in the sense of you're playing men. You're not playing. You're playing guys without facial hair.
Again, but
32 points, 11 of 19.
Yep.
6 of 12 from 3. Knocks down both free throws, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, block, 27 minutes.
Right.
Is that going to translate point for point, bound for bound into opening night against whoever? No, but what I saw was, I think a guy that was asked to you got to go be the dude. And I think when he played at Arkansas, there were 2 guys that got drafted before him who the team ran through them. And I think sometimes you are limited by the ceiling that you think you have, right? When you ask for ideas, people will generate an idea based on the resources that they think they have to achieve the idea, especially as adults. And so if you are brought in and it's hey, bro, yak them up, play ball. Yep. And maybe, just maybe, when you're in attack mode, you're afforded the opportunity to go, just go play, man. You're the dude, you put up 19 shots, put up 19 shots, put up 20 shots, all that stuff. Maybe not. Maybe he's still a base head and we're going to figure that out, all of the stuff. But you can only grade with what you've seen. And this is what we've seen from him so far. Super encouraging. What's more encouraging, do you think, his output? Bryson Hopkins' consistent dog mentality over really all 3 games of the preseason or the summer.
Let me just say one thing before we leave the topic. This is still a league that is featuring Darren Peterson, who's the number 2 pick overall, AJ DeMonsta, who's the number 1 pick overall, Caleb Wilson, Cam Boozer, all the top picks are playing in this league. It's not like anybody's setting this out. So it's legit.
I love it. I mean, I saw.
Yes.
Was it Wilson who said it? Was when they're talking about the difference now between top picks now playing in the summer league in yesteryears, where it's you really wouldn't do it. And he's I don't know about them, but I love basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to play basketball, right? And the opportunity just to go kill dudes on the court, that's just, I love it. I'm hoping that kind of mentality, the Anthony Edwards a little bit, not as off the court baby mama thing, but on the court, just I'm not your friend.
We're not friends.
Respect you all the stuff, but I'm not coming here to build a bro community. And mind you, I also like, I'm mature enough in my like competitive nature where, you know, competitive softball now, when I play, like I'm trying to win the game. I will be nice to guys while I'm playing, but again, it's softball. It's not competitive. It's not me versus that guy to get the ball, right? It's me versus the ball, really. And so it's a much different facet of it where like you got to put your team over the other teams. And, you know, this isn't your community necessarily, right? It's not like you're keeping other kids from having healthcare because you're focusing on this is we want to win. There's one goal, and it's to achieve the victory at the end of the day. There's obviously integrity in doing it, but let's push the crap out of those boundaries. Like you don't know if that's the thing until you don't. And I'm super excited about that. I really like that you said that too. I appreciated that. And that quote stuck with me of like, I love ball. Like I'm just going to go out. I'm going to go play. And if there's a ball in a court, I'm on it. Like that's just it.
So to answer your question, Bryce Hopkins being a little bit more consistent and giving us a little bit more grit, I think is more important because that's the kind of attitude that we want to bring into the locker room where it's, you know, we're going to play through injuries. We're going to be gritty. We're going to fight for loose balls. We're going to be competitive and we want to show our competitive fire. And I think that's more important. Like Brazil having 32 points is great and showing that he has that kind of ceiling is awesome because maybe he becomes a rotational piece. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. I think it's great, but like I think this team needs a culture change where it's, you know, we missed a lot of that grittiness that we had during the championship run where, you know, it was KCP and it was Aaron Gordon. It was, you know, these bench guys that came in and were just, you know, dogs. So give me Bryce Hopkins being more impressive to me than Brazil.
Yeah, I would say the other way. One, I agree with all of your points. I think what I expect to happen is that I think Hopkins will be more of a contributor because of that. Mm-hmm. Because there is a specific need, 12 to 15 minutes of a guy that's just going to go get the work done.
Yep.
I think he's a little bit better than get the work done, though, at least from what I've seen which makes me feel better and more of like, this isn't a Diallo where I'm just asking him to like go D up, get some boards and maybe a dunk or two on a break. Like he has a skill set. Right. And then there's a maturity to him that I think he understands the small stuff of the game to contribute without necessarily knocking down threes all the time. It's kind of what Christian Brown brought before he got the yips, right? Like he understood basketball and be in the right place, good defense, get out in the break, right? NBA Finals game, you can lead the team in scoring because you are attacking stuff.
Yep.
And then the next game, like, you know what, AG's got it. Like I just got to ball out and play defense. So that part,
but I think those two things are linked. Like Diallo and Bryce Hopkins, I think are linked to be like these are the kind of players that we want to bring into the organization and fill out our bench with. So 100%. As good as Bruce Brown was and Tim Hardaway was last year, you know, Bruce Brown is just unfortunately past his prime, and Tim Hardaway, you know, he's more of a shooter than he is anything else.
He's a shooter. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, I wasn't overly impressed with ball handling. Defense wasn't there. Yes, no. I think again, looking at the team. You have Cam, so especially at least as it's currently constructed, right? Cam Johnson's still on the team, good shooter. Yep. Aaron Gordon made himself good shooter. Nikola Jokić, good shooter. Aaron Murray, good shooter. Christian Brown, outside of last year, I would even say like a good enough shooter. I mean, last year, like, but and then you look at some of the younger guys that you're hoping. I think all of that's there. I think Brazil. I think if I'm the Nuggets and if I expect Hopkins to be in the rotation, my message to Brazil is if he's in the rotation, you better have one more minute a game than he does. Like you're 23, you have athletic. He is the most gifted athlete on the team right now. And you have Aaron Gordon, who's a dunk champion, like healthy even, right? Like he is a specimen. That dude is built in the lab. He was built to play basketball. Like he is his timeline matched up with the sport, right? Like you got the right thing, the right job, the right skill set. If you can be in attack mode and play attention on defense, you're going to get 20 minutes a game, man. Like we need just because of the skill set. Even if he's a half step late, guard like protecting the rim, he is athletic enough, bouncy enough, long enough. What he provides is better than a half step early for a guy that's 6'7" without that. So just to be able to add, I think Hopkins is. I knew that and I was excited about it. I was hopeful. What I have liked too is KJ Simpson.
Yep.
I think KJ has looked good. I think that gives you another guy to look at as a ball handler and a guy that just kind of gets it. And so there's a few things I like, and I think they have to get younger. One, I do think that Calvin Booth was right. The bench had to get younger and cheaper. If you were in the sense, like in philosophy, right, with what he was trying to do with, is that's how you had to build the bench, or at least start from it. You can't go give starter money to a bench guy when you with the second apron coming. And so I think that they got to take some risks and they got to get some guys that can contribute, and that's going to be on Adelman to find out niches where, hey, Hopkins, when you go in, here's your lane, man. They go and that's it. That's the thing. And then, the October, November, that's the time to like let them go do it. Don't let them try and earn their way in the rotation. Have them earn their way out. You know what I mean? Like that's the take. But excited.
We'll say one thing before we move on topics. I expect Brazil, Hopkins, and Simpson to just kind of be that 11, 12, 13th guy instead of, because Adelman, I think, is still cut from the Mike Malone cloth where you got to earn your minutes in practice. So,
and if he doesn't win, he's going to be fired. Like,
I totally agree, but I'm just telling you what I. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying, though.
This is the reality we have to deal with. So,
yeah, because if I'm him, am I going to experiment without job security? Like, I'm not gonna. Like, no, I'm going to play the best 7 guys, and so unless he gets, he gets that from the folks upstairs, I wouldn't do anything different either. But a lot of that is up to Peyton Watson, whether or not he's Nugget. Sounds like Milwaukee is sniffing around.
Yeah, let's talk about Peyton Watson.
Yeah.
So it seems to me, this is the way it feels, is that the Denver Nuggets offseason is waiting on Peyton Watson to make up his mind on
100%.
Where he wants to go, what he wants to do. The number that got floated by his agent was
25 plus.
Well, I think the number floated by his agent was 28 to 30. And I think
for sure. 25 was the starting point.
Yeah. So I think it's closer to 28 to 30. Yeah. And we'll see kind of where these teams land. Like you said, Milwaukee sniffing around. I think the Clippers, after they move Kawhi, after that move is finalized, whatever's going on there, will also probably be a little interested. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, part of it being and what's interesting, at least about the Clippers, right? Because they got they got Brandon Ingram and some pieces like that back. What kind of timeline are they wanting to work with, right? Are they trying to go with a youth movement, which, in my opinion, would behoove them? Even if they got Peyton Watson, he's 23.
Yeah.
I think, they had the number 5 pick in the draft this year. If it's me, I suck. And, then you trade for Peyton Watson, you send out Brandon Ingram and some assets or whatever that's going to be because you are trying to not win. I think Brandon Ingram is good enough to get you in trouble if you were them. So there's no point in acquiring Peyton Watson and keeping Brandon Ingram. So you have more guys to put baskets when really maybe you're a play-in team. And that's hoping the best. So it's been a weird domino, which I think Peyton Watson doesn't fall probably until LeBron falls, which is just super interesting to me in the sense of, he is going to sign a vet min deal because he wants to win. He doesn't need money. He's a billionaire, all this stuff. It was the last time the league was like hanging on a vet min, that's just crazy to me.
But which is again, it seems like, again, and maybe this is just my perspective, but like LeBron and Peyton are dealing with different teams. Like Peyton Watson's going after the Milwaukees and the Clippers and we're going to be rebuild and maybe you'll be the star type of deals. Whereas LeBron's like, I want Cleveland, I want Golden State, I want one of these 5 teams that's going to compete. So
yeah. I mean, we really are, because it's a contender doesn't want Peyton Watson to come there and be the man. Yeah, like that's not what they need for sure. 2 different things, but it's super interesting that we'll see. My hope, and I don't know that Peyton Watson will want to do it, but my hope is he just signs a qualifying offer and comes back with a qualifying offer. Just be you trade him at the deadline, all the stuff. But I think really they also can't make a move. because of the contract stuff, like all the things. So
Right.
I think if he signs a qualifying offer, I think that they stay under the apron, which then you got a competitive team with Marvin Bagley. Maybe you cut, maybe you let Spencer Jones, and it's things like that would suck. But hey, you know what? Like you're banking on health and continuity and whatever, all the stuff. But it's an interesting thing to see, and I hope it gets settled just so we can start talking about the team that will be, not the things that we think might be. But we'll see. So, all right. Well, we're gonna talk now. We're just gonna talk Broncos for a little bit. I know we ran over, but to be honest, I needed the therapy.
Let's do it.
We are less than a week. Are we exactly a week away from rookies reporting to Broncos training camp, and then 2 weeks away from the vets reporting, 29th of July.
First open practice is the 31st, so everybody go show out and show these players, these new players like Waddle and Jonah Coleman, and everybody what kind of fandom you guys are. So,
I mean, and especially because you'll be shaded this year, and so you won't die out there, which I think is just super dope. But I'm excited. It's crazy because it's, for as much as we talk like football in this country, and rightfully so, to be honest with you, like it has delivered. It understands its markets. It's played itself well. So even though I'm really trying to bring myself out of my Bronco focus shell, I also need to, in NFL in general, it still is the most important sport, in my opinion, in the United States because of what it's meant. Other sports are they're fighting at the bit and all stuff. Good. Yep. Appreciation for all the things. But NFL runs the sports world in the United States. And so it is the biggest thing. And yet it feels like, holy crap, man. Like, I don't think I'm actually prepared for football to start, to see, like, to actually talk practices and guys like, injuries and play and like the hypothetical offseason stuff is just
with the Davis Webb.
Yep.
I don't know that I'm prepared either.
Yeah. And so it's so first though, I'm just going to ask you, are you familiar off the top of your head with the Broncos draft class?
Yes.
Okay. Who's a rookie that you are most excited to see in pads? All the stuff, right? In training camp, which you're not seeing pads in OTAs. So with all the context, what's the rookie that you're most excited to see in action? Go.
So I don't know that he's the biggest freak, but Red Murdoch I thought was phenomenal linebacker out of Buffalo. Like I really enjoyed him.
I like that.
Watching the scheme. He's just an instinctual player. So it's very interesting to watch him. I don't know that he's going to super impress when we're not in pads. But you give me in that first preseason game, I bet you he's going to make some noise. So,
yeah. Talk about you know what? That's really good. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be hard to deny the field. I think unless he is just incapable athletically. Yeah. But then I think he's even a core special teamer, right? Like,
agreed.
A ton of special teams isn't about whether or not you're physically gifted. It's whether or not you got the cojones to get down there.
And for sure he does. So
he does. Yeah, it is not. Yeah, I am not. Nope, not worried. I know that I'm most excited to watch Jonah Coleman because of pads. And I think because he's not a guy that he is not a 4.240 guy. Nope. He's 5'9", short king. What up? All of 230, and all of that's like literally in his legs. And so I think you can't really appreciate him in that until he can pass pro for real, until he can 3rd and 1 for real. I think that those are going to be things where, in my opinion, you're going to see whether or not he can contribute day one. Because if you can't do those, him not being the most physically gifted, et cetera, I think that really takes down his immediate value. I think there'll be things he'll be good at. I'm pretty confident about it. But you got to see it in the end, doing it at Washington against, San Jose State linebacker 2, whatever, on college football 2020, whatever, is much different than, you got Nick Bolton, who is a clown, but a good player. And
I didn't know this. So, but Jay Weaver, the co-host on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast is probably the biggest Jonah Coleman fan I know, and that includes you. I think it goes his mom,
Jay.
his girl, his sister, and then Jay. And it's crazy. Jay has already built a statue to Jonah Coleman, so we're excited to see.
Okay.
So you may have to fight.
You know what, Jay? I will. One, I love Jay. I'm not gonna fight Jay.
Yeah.
That said, being a leader, know that you don't always lead from the front. Sometimes you lead from the back. I'm going to accept that you can drive this train. I will co-sign your fan club. But if you don't hold the bar high, Jay, okay, we will have mutiny. You know, Jonah deserves the best. I'm going to make sure he gets the best. If you're the best for it, I'll support you. If you're not the best, we'll talk about it. But I love it. I think fans will love it too. What do you think if you were to summarize or just describe what Jalen Waddle's impact will be, right? What will be like the sentiment? And I'm just talking about like training camp. We'll talk season stuff, but just heading into training camp by the end of the preseason, Broncos media, Denver media will say what about Jalen Waddle's impact on the offense?
I think that they have a wide receiver, a legit wide receiver one. They can win kind of the short intermediate routes that maybe we've been looking for a while. So I think that's going to be the biggest winner in the not playing in pads, where you could see like the offensive scheme saying, "Oh my God, Jalen Waddle got open again against the coverage. Oh, Jalen Waddle beat Riley Moss again or Jahdae Barron again in practice." I think that's going to be the biggest impact that Jalen Waddle has, is he's going to make Bo Nix better because he's got weapons now that control different parts of the field. So
nice. All right, and then storyline training camp that you are most excited to see play out. Could be a position battle, could be Bo Nix's did come back injury. However you want to take it. So if you want a second to think about it, I'll let you. And then I think one that I'm not most excited about, but I am looking forward to concluding is Jonathan Cooper's crap.
Yeah,
I think he hasn't been in the news for a bit, which I think for Jonathan Cooper is good for him. I think the more that there isn't news about it, the more likely that he might have stayed off the executioner. So I'm excited for that to be done, whether he's a Bronco or not. That's my personal take aside. But I think that cloud, because that really is like the only cloud of excitement for this team going into. And so that one is huge for me. What are you looking forward to, though, Chris?
So personally, I'm looking forward to the Jahdae Barron kind of storyline. First round draft pick, highly thought of player. I think he can play not only inside but outside. So I'm thinking that Riley Moss, Jahdae Barron, quarterback 2 battle is going to be interesting to watch, at least for me. So I think that's the one I'm going to be looking forward the most. I think the one that's going to be the most interesting to everybody is going to be Bo Nix coming back. I don't think you can deny that his injury recovery, and there was a ton of speculation in June about, how healthy is he? Is he going to be back? All that stuff. I think he answers those questions and continues his rise up the quarterback ranking. So I think it's going to be Bo Nix for everybody else, but for me personally, it's going to be Jahdae Barron.
Mine's going to be with Davis Webb, man. That's
a good one.
And what we see also, not just what we hear. I mean, from the team, you'll hear a lot. I think that Sean Payton is not F around enough guy that if it ain't working, it's not going to work. And I think he'll do. I think that it will work. I'm interested to see what that means. Is he going to be a guy that like Kyle Shanahan and McVay and guys like that early on in their career learned that we have to lean on the run. Mm-hmm. And when you do, I think you're more successful as an offense. You can see how well LA and San Francisco have really bought in to that, Mike McDaniel, et cetera, right? Yep. In terms of offensive success. Dan Campbell in Detroit, for as good as Jared Goff has played, they have been really good because of their ability to run the football. And 100%. So does Davis Webb do that? Or because we have a lot of fun, shiny toys on the outside, former quarterback, I'd appreciate this too. Just let me go empty and toss it around.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but how does he adapt? Watching the game again, the preseason game against San Francisco, where he was the coordinator for that game. It again, preseason, all the stuff, but it was creative. You could see a tempo and a nuance of some of the plays. So I'm going to watch it again just to see the flow. So I'm excited for that because I think if that goes well, one, he probably is gone. Two, the Broncos are probably in, a good playoff run because I think if the defense or the offense does what it's supposed to do, I think the defense will be fine with very minimal changes. So super excited about that. All right. So
this is going to be, and I don't know if you're leading into this, but this is going to be my biggest question going into camp and going into the preseason is kind of how this dynamic is with Sean Payton and Davis Webb. I have concerns about it, and the reason I have concerns about it is not because of Davis Webb necessarily, but because of Sean Payton. And you sent me the transcript of his press conference at the Combine back in February, and Sean Payton came out and said, yeah, he's going to be the offensive coordinator. But then like 4 questions later, he was still saying he was going to call plays. And I'm like, I don't understand how that's going to work. And also it occurs to me that Sean Payton learned under Bill Parcells. And Bill Parcells did not screw around with anything. So if this is – I wonder how much of a leash Davis Webb is going to have when it comes to, the offense is struggling, Bo Nix is struggling, or, the run game, we can't get it going for X, Y, and Z. I wonder how much patience Sean Payton is going to have with that. So this is my biggest question.
It would be interesting too. It would be interesting too because I think that's really good. If it's visibly bad, right?
Yep.
It would be interesting if it's visibly bad, but there isn't a change. Was this what Sean wanted? Right? What up, Mike?
Yep.
If their offense goes poo-poo and there isn't a change, then Sean didn't have as much of a say in that process as we thought.
Yep.
Or, whatever. I mean, we can't hear the headsets. Who knows all of the stuff. But that is a dance. It's as a guy who, like, how do you not identify, right? Like, his identity has been the creation of, the Seth Wickersham piece, one is just phenomenal. And then hearing him talk about it and kind of the rounds about hours and hours and hours that they would put in on one play.
Yep.
Play, not a playbook, but hours and hours. And then now, I mean, I think he'll still do that because I think the creativeness and play design and all that stuff, I don't think he'll stop doing that. Obviously, the calling and the sequencing within a game, he'll have influence on, but not be doing. But that's an identity, right? Like that's who he's been, how he's been valued. He's made $100+ million over his career because of his ability to call plays.
Yep.
And design plays. And then now it's like, now it's to win. And maybe he's ready for it. Maybe he's like, you saw his sleep scores and all the stuff. He's not healthy all the time. Maybe it's an opportunity for him to scale back. He just doesn't seem like that. We
saw this play out with the Eagles last year where they were struggling offensively and kept coming back to or kept going with that Kevin Patulio, their offensive coordinator, and up until the end. I don't expect that to be the case with the Broncos. I think if the first, they have 2 bad games in a row, I worry that Sean Payton's going to be like, nope, doesn't work. I'm just going to take this back and you can go do whatever you want, or you're going to go back to being, the quarterback specialist or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
good news. I don't think Davis will be that bad. I don't think he'll be Eagles bad. Like that was like heart hurting bad. I think that he'll have enough insight, but yeah, especially for a team, to be honest, that has Super Bowl aspirations. This isn't like an up and coming team where you're like, maybe we got it, maybe we didn't. This is like we think we have an opportunity to compete for a championship, and then now we have a new play. So, I'm excited. The thing that I'm most concerned about is their commitment to the run game. I think for this team to be good, because even remember though, with J.K. Dobbins was a top tier rusher before he got hurt. The offense didn't look great. Bo Nix didn't play well until J.K. got hurt, really. Yep. And I mean more consistently play. Blah, blah, blah. And so can those two things come together at the same time where this offense is, and it doesn't necessarily just mean points, but I think we all know what looks good and what doesn't. Maintain drives, allows you to control the field position, et cetera. I think that part will be important because I think if this team can run the ball, one, that means J.K. probably stayed healthy. Two, The offensive line probably stayed healthy, I think, but I think it shows growth of Davis Webb in, he played in the air raid. He likes throwing the rock. Don't get it twisted. That he is doing, I think, what he knows to be a successful long-term offensive football.
But even Sean McVay is a quarterback or a former quarterback and grew up in a throwing system, and he has understood that I need to transition to more of a ground and pound game at times. So
if you look at some of the best Saints offenses, they were top 5 in rushing.
Yep.
Right? Like, Sean Payton, that hasn't even been lost on that. So I think so, because I think we understand that. I think the league has gone back a little bit to more of a appreciation for the run game, with how simplified some of the offensive stuff has been. But that's the part that I'm most concerned about too. I think other than that is the Jonathan Cooper, more just that's for a defense that you were expected to be championship level. I wouldn't say that he's irreplaceable, but it's a piece that you went through the offseason assuming that you did not have to replace a caliber, a starting caliber NFL edge rusher. That's not just something that grows on trees. But you have Von Miller in the wings waiting to be on the team, so you're probably fine. All right, real quick, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. We're going to get up fast. Thanks for indulging us going over. I've missed Chris's musk, and so this has been
you did
great for me. Yeah, I did. So I'm going to ask you predictions. Ready? World Cup champ. Who's hoisting that beautiful gold statue after
Argentina.
The final?
I'm saying Argentina. Messi goes back to back.
Hoping going for Spain. People that have everything don't deserve everything. So no, it's weird. It's hard to it's like the Destiny train a little bit, right? Like you see it and you're like, I don't know, man. This looks like this is the thing. Like they just got some of the magic. And so I actually think Argentina is going to win too. So that is also my prediction. And Spain's won a lot, so it's not like they're they shouldn't get some stuff. Plus they had conquistadors, which is real crappy. Argentina didn't do that to us. All right. Did the Denver Summit make the playoffs?
I'm going to say no. They're going to finish right outside. So
nice.
I think a full year I expect them to make the playoffs next year because they'll have a full season of Lindsey Heaps and God, I've forgotten her name. The leading goal scorer. So
yeah, I think that's fair. Right now they are outside. If I look at points, so the Orlando Pride is in the 8th spot, 20 points. Summit is at 16. Got some ground to. I also don't think they'll make it. I think they got to leap quite a few teams. I think it's going to take Heaps a little bit to get in. Plus, one player doesn't make a new. However, I'm hoping I'm wrong. Rockies second half prediction. More just how many wins do they end up with?
You said, I'm sorry, 73. You said is that accurate?
71. They're going to
71.
71.
I'm going to say 65. I think that's about right. I think if you move some of these pieces and have these younger players in, I'd rather have that and then lose more, but get these young players a little bit more reps so we can start building maybe for 2027. So
okay. Right now they're on pace for 64 wins, which would make them 64-98, which would be a significant improvement still.
Absolutely.
70 wins. I mean, that's essentially right. That's a whole nother week of winning. Would really kind of get them to the top of the lower tier, the top of the bottom third or bottom of the middle third, which I think the way that they're playing right now, essentially they're playing 500 baseball right now, which that's average against good teams, Dodgers, all the stuff. So, I'm going to stick with it. I think they end up.
I'm not going to measure their success in wins and losses. I'm going to measure their success in kind of progress, and I see progress, so which is great.
Yes, I need answers to who's a part of the puzzle next year. And if you could add a couple pieces, Cole Carrig has been again good call, Drew. Charlie Condon right now, it's just you saw it, you're seeing it. He's just home run after home run. Before Holiday got hurt, you saw it. That kid was, literally hitting home runs out of the stadium, which is I don't care if it's softball or slow pitch old man softball or big boy baseball. That's pretty dope. And so Dollander looked like the truth. come back. He'll probably throw a little bit harder after UCL surgery. A couple of guys, Gabe Hughes, I think has looked great. I think that there's some good pieces. And if you can say, hey, you know what, these 8 guys are a part of it. Because last year, maybe it was Tovar and maybe it was Hunter Goodman. Hunter Goodman had a good year last year, but I wouldn't have said like, oh, that's a building block yet. Obviously, Tovar has fell a little bit, but he was a guy that is all-star worthy. Now you maybe got a couple pitches. You got some big fun bats coming up. So I'm excited about that. Again, don't measure by wins and losses, but I do think winning behooves winning. And I think if this is a team that can continue to like play 4-6, 5-5, 6-4, they just toggle between those things. They continue to respond when they get their butt kicked, which I think has been super dope. You know, they blow a big game or a lead. They have oftentimes this year came and won the next game, which that for sure was never the case. Now it would be better for them not to blow leads like that. But yeah. And then finally, what do you think happens to Peyton Watson? Calling a shot right now. If I were to say this happens,
I'm gonna say sign and trade. I think the Cronkies are not interested in going into the second apron. I don't care what Josh Kroenke says. I don't think they're super interested. So I think they are. It's going to be a sign and trade deal because I think Peyton Watson's going to get the 28 to 30 because so many of these teams are wanting players. So
yeah. I think his feelings are hurt.
I agree.
And I think when that happens, it's tough to come back from. So unless the Nuggets give in and offer something that makes him feel appreciated in that ballpark, which I don't, if no one else has offered it with the RFA tender, I'm not going to outbid myself. Hey, Peyton, it's your job to go get the market. It's not mine. Right. So I think at this point, to be honest with you, that's probably the best case scenario where he goes, he gets happy, makes money, you get back assets or players that you think can help you win. Now you stay under the second apron, which now resets, which means you can go in it next year, which I think is good, without losing maybe too much talent off your NBA roster. Give it a go, all that good stuff. So I like that. Well, for my co-hosts, Chris, the Birdman, right? Just kidding.
Caw.
JT, I'm gonna be a dad, and myself. We really appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out over the past hour and some change. It's been fun, but we will have to see you next time. So if you want a script, holler at me.
From football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire. So grab your crew, let's hit the show. My high sports symposium, let the good times flow.